Have you ever noticed a persistent itch that just won't go away, no matter how much lotion you apply or how often you scratch? Most of us chalk it up to dry skin, allergies, or maybe even the weather changing. And let's face it, after 60, a little discomfort here and there feels like part of the deal, right? But what if that lingering itch is more than just a minor annoyance? What if it's your body's way of waving a red flag? You see, as we get older, our bodies get smarter about sending signals when something's off. The tricky part is those signals don't always come in the form of pain or fatigue. Sometimes they show up in subtle ways, like an itchy patch that keeps coming back in the same spot. In this video, we're diving into 5 specific itchy areas on the body that could be early warning signs of serious health concerns, from circulation issues in your legs to possible liver problems showing up in your hands. These aren't just random irritations. They could be your body's way of telling you something important is going on underneath the surface. So if you're over 60 or caring for someone who is, this is one video you won't want to skip. Understanding these small signs could help prevent bigger problems down the road and potentially even extend your quality of life. Stick around until the end, because the final itchy spot is one of the most overlooked, and it just might be the most dangerous. And hey, if you find this information helpful, give the video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and let us know in the comments if anything sounds familiar to you. Let's get started. 1. Itchy lower legs. Let's start with one of the most common spots people over 60 report experiencing persistent itching: the lower legs, especially around the shins and ankles. Now, if you're like most folks, you might assume this kind of itch is just a result of dry skin, irritation from socks, or maybe even a reaction to laundry detergent. And sometimes, sure, that's all it is. But if the itch keeps coming back, or it's there even after you moisturize and change your socks, it could be something much more serious. A sign of poor circulation. Here's what's happening behind the scenes. As we age, our blood vessels become less efficient at delivering oxygen and nutrients to the outer layers of our skin, especially in areas farthest from the heart like the lower legs. This can lead to dryness, thinning skin, and even nerve itching. In some cases, it may point to peripheral artery disease, PAD, a condition that narrows arteries and increases your risk of heart attacks or strokes. Let me give you an example. James, a 73-year-old retired truck driver from Ohio, started noticing an annoying itch on his shins every night around bedtime. At first, he blamed the winter air and dry skin, but when lotions didn't help and the itch turned into a tingling sensation, he finally brought it up with his doctor. After some tests, it turned out his circulation was compromised. His doctor warned that without action, it could lead to more serious problems like blood clots or even ulcers. Thankfully, James made a few simple changes, adding daily walks to his routine, improving his diet with heart-healthy foods, and drinking more water. Within a few weeks, the itching eased up, and more importantly, his circulation began to improve. Here's a quick self-test you can try at home. Press your finger firmly into your shin for about 5 seconds, and then release. If the indentation lingers for more than a few seconds before disappearing, your circulation may not be functioning at its best. Other warning signs to watch out for include cold feet, numbness, or a feeling of heaviness in your legs after walking short distances. These symptoms might seem harmless at first, but together they can signal a vascular issue that needs attention. Bottom line, don't brush off lower leg itching as just another aging nuisance. If it keeps coming back, especially in the same area, it's worth checking in with your healthcare provider. Catching circulation problems early can make a world of difference, not just for your comfort, but for your long-term health and independence. 2. Itchy upper back. Have you ever had that one itchy spot on your upper back right between your shoulder blades that no amount of scratching or lotion seems to fix? If so, you're not alone. And it might not be just dry skin or a hard-to-reach spot. That lingering itch could be a sign of something happening beneath the surface, nerve damage. This particular type of itch is often linked to a condition called notalgia paresthetica. It's a fancy name, but what it really means is that nerves in the upper spine are being compressed or irritated, which sends strange signals to the skin, even when there's nothing visibly wrong. As we age, the discs in our spine start to lose hydration and shrink. When that happens, nearby nerves can get pinched or compressed. The result? A deep, burning or tingling itch that won't go away, even if your skin looks totally normal. Take Roger, a 68-year-old retired firefighter from Arizona. He started noticing a strange itch under his right shoulder blade. Nothing too intense, but persistent enough to keep him reaching for a back scratcher every evening. At first, he blamed it on sun exposure or an old t-shirt rubbing the wrong way. But when the itch started waking him up at night, he decided to get it checked out. His doctor diagnosed him with nerve compression in his thoracic spine. It wasn't anything life-threatening, but if left untreated, it could have led to more serious problems, like chronic pain, limited range of motion, or even posture issues that might affect balance and independence later in life. With a combination of physical therapy, better posture habits, and stretching exercises tailored to relieve pressure on the spine, Roger saw improvement in just a few weeks. The itch faded and he regained a sense of control over his body again. So how can you tell if your upper back itch might be nerve-related? Here's a simple test. Press into the itchy spot with your fingers. If it feels oddly deep, tingly, or even numb, not like surface-level irritation, that's a red flag. Skin-related itches usually respond to moisturizers or go away with scratching. Nerve-related itches, not so much. And here's the important takeaway. If you're over 60 and you notice a persistent itch in your upper back, especially if it's always in the same place, don't ignore it. It might not be about your skin at all. Instead, it could be your spine asking for a little attention. Getting it checked out early can help prevent more serious mobility or nerve issues down the line. And that means protecting not just your comfort, but your long-term independence. 3. Itchy palms. Most of us have experienced itchy palms at some point, maybe after using a new soap, working in the yard, or dealing with dry winter air. But what if that itch doesn't go away, keeps coming back for no clear reason, and seems to get worse at night? For people over 60, persistent itching in the palms can sometimes be a silent warning sign of trouble with your liver. Your liver plays a vital role in keeping your body running smoothly. It filters toxins from your blood, helps digest fats by producing bile, and regulates dozens of essential functions. But when the liver isn't working properly, due to fatty liver disease, bile duct problems, or other forms of liver dysfunction, bile salts can build up in the bloodstream. This internal buildup doesn't always show on the outside, but one of its first symptoms, itchy skin, especially on the palms of the hands and soles of the feet. Walter, a 72-year-old retired school principal from Minnesota, started noticing this exact issue. His palms would start itching in the early evening, randomly, without warning, and with no visible rash or dryness. He switched soaps, tried medicated creams, and even changed his laundry detergent, but nothing helped. Finally, after a routine physical, blood work revealed elevated liver enzymes. He was in the early stages of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, something many older adults develop without even knowing it. Thankfully, Walter caught it early. With some dietary adjustments, cutting back on processed foods, eating more leafy greens and whole grains, and staying hydrated, he was able to improve his liver function and get relief from the itching. Here's a simple home check you can try. Press your thumb into the center of your palm and release it. If the skin stays red longer than expected or feels more sensitive than usual, it might be time to take a closer look at what your liver is trying to tell you. Other symptoms to watch for include unexplained fatigue, yellowing of the skin or eyes, changes in digestion, or easy bruising. But remember, liver issues often start silently. Itching might be one of the first red flags. If your palm itching seems to have no external cause, don't just write it off. It could be your body's way of alerting you to something deeper going on. A simple blood test can give you and your doctor the information needed to act before a minor issue becomes a serious one. Caring for your liver through a healthy diet, regular hydration, and limited alcohol intake can protect more than just your comfort. It can preserve your energy, your independence, and your quality of life well into your later years. Or itchy scalp. If your scalp has been feeling itchy lately, but there's no dandruff, no visible rash, and no new shampoo to blame, you might be tempted to ignore it or brush it off as a small irritation. But for those of us over 60, a persistently itchy scalp can sometimes be your body's quiet way of warning you about something much more serious: blood sugar imbalance. Here's the surprising connection. When your blood sugar levels remain too high for extended periods, something that happens frequently in prediabetes or type 2 diabetes, it creates a state of chronic inflammation in the body. This inflammation doesn't always show up as pain or swelling. Sometimes it shows up in your skin, and the scalp is often one of the first places affected. High blood sugar can damage small nerves, weaken the immune system, and disrupt the skin's natural moisture barrier. The result? An itchy, irritated scalp that feels dry, sensitive, and just won't go away, no matter how many times you switch shampoos. Take Richard, a 69-year-old Vietnam veteran from North Carolina. He had been dealing with an itchy scalp for months. He tried switching to sensitive skin shampoos, cutting out hair products, even rinsing with cold water. Nothing helped. Finally, during a routine checkup, his doctor ran some blood work. The results? His fasting blood sugar was in the pre-diabetic range, and his body had been trying to send him a message all along. Once Richard cut back on sugary snacks and refined carbs, started walking after dinner each evening, and made a point to drink more water, his scalp irritation faded. More importantly, his blood sugar levels began to stabilize, and he avoided progressing into full-blown diabetes. Here's a simple way to check your scalp health at home. Run your fingertips slowly across your scalp. Does it feel extra dry, tender, or irritated in certain spots? Are you scratching more than usual even when there's no visible flaking or redness? These can all be subtle clues that your blood sugar may be out of balance. Other signs to pay attention to include increased thirst, blurry vision, fatigue, or slow healing cuts, all of which are early red flags for prediabetes or diabetes. If you've been struggling with scalp itchiness and haven't been able to pinpoint the cause, it's worth discussing with your doctor, especially if you're over 60. A simple blood test can reveal whether your glucose levels are within a healthy range, and early action can make all the difference. Managing your blood sugar isn't just about avoiding diabetes. It's about protecting your skin, your nerves, your circulation, and your long-term health. So the next time your scalp itches for no reason, don't just reach for a new shampoo, reach for real answers. 5 Ditchy soles. Have you ever laid in bed at night and noticed a strange, persistent itch on the bottoms of your feet? No rash, no dryness, just that constant urge to scratch, especially when you're trying to fall asleep. For many people over 60, this kind of unexplained itch can actually be more than just a nuisance. It may be an early sign of nerve damage, also known as peripheral neuropathy. The nerves in your feet are among the most sensitive in your entire body. They're also some of the first to be affected by poor circulation, elevated blood sugar levels, or pressure from long-term wear and tear. When these nerves begin to misfire, sending the wrong signals to your brain, you may feel an itch that has no visible cause. In fact, what you're experiencing might not be a skin issue at all, but a neurological one. Take Frank, a 74-year-old retired construction worker from Indiana. He began to notice that the soles of his feet would itch every evening. At first, he blamed it on his socks or maybe the cold winter air, but over time, the itching became more intense, almost like a burning sensation, and lotions didn't help. When he finally mentioned it to his doctor, a simple test confirmed he was showing signs of early peripheral neuropathy. His doctor told him that, left untreated, this condition could progress to numbness, poor balance, or even serious foot injuries that might go unnoticed and take a long time to heal. Fortunately, Frank was able to turn things around. He started walking more often, cleaned up his diet, cutting back on sugar and processed foods, and took better care of his feet, checking them daily for any signs of damage. Over time, his symptoms improved and he regained confidence in his step. You can try this quick test at home. Take the rounded end of a pen cap and gently run it along the sole of your foot. If the sensation feels muted, uneven between both feet, or triggers an itchy or tingling reaction, it could be an early indicator of nerve dysfunction. Other warning signs to keep an eye on include burning, numbness, sensitivity to touch, or even the feeling that you're wearing socks when you're not. These are all classic signs that your nerves aren't communicating properly with your brain. If you're over 60 and dealing with unexplained foot itching, especially at night, don't dismiss it as just dry skin. It could be your body's early alert system signaling a need for closer attention to circulation, nerve health, or blood sugar control. Taking small steps now, like walking regularly, staying hydrated, and eating a balanced low-sugar diet, can go a long way in preserving your comfort, mobility, and independence. Now that we've explored 5 specific itchy spots that could be signaling deeper health concerns, it's time to step back and reflect. These itches may seem small or easy to brush off, but for those of us in our 60s and beyond, nothing your body does is random, especially when it's persistent and unusual. Whether it's your lower legs warning you about poor circulation, your upper back pointing to nerve compression, or your palms trying to flag down liver stress, your body often whispers before it screams, and the sooner we listen to those whispers, the better chance we have at preventing something more serious down the road. The same goes for itchy scalps that can indicate blood sugar imbalance, or tingling soles that may suggest early nerve damage. These subtle symptoms can be your early warning system, a way for your body to say something's not quite right. So if you've experienced any of these itchy spots recently, don't ignore them. Take note. Pay attention to when and where the itching happens, what makes it better or worse, and any other changes you've noticed, like fatigue, numbness, or skin discoloration. Then, have an open conversation with your doctor. A simple test or lifestyle change might make all the difference. Remember, growing older doesn't mean surrendering to discomfort. It means getting wiser about your health, staying alert, and being proactive. You've earned the right to feel your best every day. Thanks for spending this time with me. If you found this information helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who could benefit. Your support means the world. Take care, and we'll see you in the next video.